friends, welcome back to my channel, Accidental Beauty. If you're new, welcome. My name is Laura. I'm a self-taught makeup enthusiast who absolutely loves color, and about 85 to 90% of the products that I use here on my channel are cruelty-free and vegan. So if that's your thing, I'd love it if you could subscribe. Today, I am doing something a little bit different. I feel like I say that a lot recently, but today, as you can see, my face looks a little bit more normal than usual, a bit less colorful than what I typically do, but I just wanted to show you guys how to do a look that looks good on Zoom or any other video conferencing app, as a lot of us are, working from home, or unfortunately, if you've been let go from your job, a lot of interviews have been done remotely. So just, here's how to look good on a webcam. So if you're interested in learning how to do that and seeing what I have to say, and also seeing how I did this look today, then please keep on watching. Basically, I filmed this video this morning. It's now in the evening, so I'm gonna try and sort of narrate as best as I can. If I forget one or two products, everything that I'm wearing will be listed in the description box, so just go there if you have any questions. I mean, I do everything the same. It's just kind of keeping in mind that I'm not gonna necessarily have a ring light in front of me. Generally, rule of thumb, when you are doing some sort of video conference of sorts, like anything with a webcam, try to be either in a place that has natural light. Make sure that you are facing the window or wherever your source of natural light is. I guess it's better if you're outside because then you get the best natural light, but if that's not an option, try and be by a window, preferably a larger one if you can. If not, then you can rely on artificial lighting, so like lights that are in your room. But often I find they're really not great unless you have a million of those LED pot lights. If you can get your room super, super bright and preferably cool lighting, then that's great. But I feel like a lot of people don't have that. I feel like that's a super bougie thing to do. Try and take a photo. It doesn't even have to be, even if it's the best camera, try and take a photo in that really warm, old school light bulb. What do you call those? Not incandescent, not fluorescent. Yeah, maybe it's incandescent. Those older light bulbs, it turns out terribly. It just makes everything look like it has a yellow ochre filter on it. It's not cute. If you're artificial lighting in your room, at home, wherever, if you can get it super bright, that'll definitely help. Or, if you have a ring light or something, that also helps make yourself look better on camera. But most people don't have that option, so I'm trying to show you how you can get that if you don't have access to the lighting methods that I just mentioned. So let's see if I can I'm going to show you guys a screen recording. Okay, so I'll just show you. I've got my ring light obviously right in front of me here. Let's just show you on FaceTime. But one thing that I'll just mention is, I guess it doesn't matter as much when you're having just a teleconference with colleagues or whatever, but this might go without saying, but I feel like not everyone has access to the resources that I did. So I'll just say it here. If you are interviewing for a position, best practice is just to kind of have your hair away from your face. I feel like it's often creatives who get really pissed off with this type of advice, but I'm the type of person, obviously, if you've seen my other videos or my content on social media, I like to express myself with makeup and hair or wigs. The crazier the better, the more colorful the better, and the more out there the better. So I'll have hair, I'll have a wig kind of styled over my face, or I'll have bright rainbow makeup or things like that. And in general, that's not the best practices when it comes to interviews, unless of course you're interviewing for to be a drag queen in a drag bar or something like that. But in general, even though my social media shows me one way, I kind of like to tone it down a little bit for interviews and then kind of slowly ease into the crazy makeup and wigs. Okay, so I'll just show you FaceTime on my laptop. Okay, so hello. So this is, okay, I don't even know where to look. Okay, I'll just look over here, I guess. This is basically what I look like with my ring light, just kind of off to the corner over here. So I'll just show you with my ring light turned off. Okay, so this is what I look like in kind of not natural light, but like, you know, the light that's in my room. So obviously very fuzzy, very pixelated, and not great, but my makeup still looks good. So I've got that going for me. Oh, look at that highlight. Oh, yes. Yeah, actually that's pretty impressive. Now I'll just show you, I'll turn on my light just to, like, I won't have it fully blown. Let's just turn that back on. This is, okay, so this is my ring light on the lowest setting. So still pretty good. So if you set up a lamp, let's say if you don't have access to a big window or like other sources of natural light, or if you don't have those big pot lights that I was mentioning, if you can set up a lamp kind of like right behind your screen, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's still like it's dark, but it's not as pixelated as before. And yeah, it's actually, it's pretty good. Okay, so I'll just, this is my ring light turned up to the fullest brightness. It's a little washed out, but really okay, now we've adjusted. Oh, check out that highlight. Hello. Yeah, I'm a little washed out. I look a little tired, but it's really, really not that bad at all. Okay, now I'm going to switch to the main camera. In general, best practices are pretty much the opposite of how you would do your makeup for like video, film, TV, even like the stage. I find, for me personally, the less makeup I have on, the better it looks on my webcam. My webcam is pretty good, but I mean, it all depends on the lighting that you have. So let's just take it from the top. Before I started filming, I actually put on some moisturizer first, and then I went in with a hydrating primer. I used the Too Faced Hangover RX primer, and just put some of that on because my concealer is kind of drying under my under eyes, so I just wanted to make sure that it was really hydrated. As it happens, it actually creased a little bit, but you know what? I can't control that. I'm working on it, but you win some, you lose some. Next, I like to go in with lighter coverage or lighter feeling products when it comes to doing things over Zoom or Teams or Skype or any other sort of video messaging platform, FaceTime. I find full coverage foundations just look really weird on webcams, and lighter coverage ones tend to look better. Now, I'm lucky, my skin is pretty good, fingers crossed. I do have eczema, but right now things thankfully seem to be under control. So if you're more insecure about breakouts, I don't know what to suggest actually. I wouldn't say using a full coverage foundation. Like, I just think it looks kind of weird on webcams. It looks fantastic on like a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, like any professional photography camera. It looks fantastic, or video camera as well. Like, it looks amazing. But for some reason on webcams, it just, something isn't quite right. Maybe, I don't know, it doesn't have like the pixels to pick it up, and I don't know what it is. So I like to go in with my IT Cosmetics CC cream, the Your Skin But Better. I have the matte one. Probably could have gone for the, I think they have one that's like kind of a more natural finish. Probably could have gone with that, but I do really, really like the finish of the matte one. It gives me like really good coverage actually, and just a beautiful, like, I know that my makeup will look good if I wear that because I know, like, it behaves perfectly. Like, I almost wish they would made a foundation using the same formula just because it's so, so good. I like to go in with that, like any lighter coverage makeup days, if I am going to be wearing some sort of like face products at all, which I get lazy sometimes and it's a lot of work. So if I am going to be wearing lighter coverage complexion products, then that's my go-to. So next is concealer. This is just pretty much what I do day to day. Anyways, I did a little bit less concealer than I think I typically do for like a full glam look, just because I think I chose the wrong concealer shade. It's quite a bit brighter than my skin tone and my foundation. I think I was a lot paler before, but even so, it is quite brightening. And I do like a brightening effect under the eyes, but I think it's just a little bit too light. So I do use it sparingly also, as I mentioned. Also, this does crease quite badly under my eyes. I mean, like, not the worst, but like it does crease. So I kind of use it sparingly, try and spread it as much as I can so that it won't crease too much. All right, so what did I do after that? I think I did my brows. So for brows, again, what looks good on camera does not look good on a webcam. So normally what I do is I go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade, and it gives me, like, my brows aren't sparse. They're pretty full actually, but it just gives me kind of the like shape and depth and fullness that I personally like in brows. It just kind of makes them like very opaque, because I don't really like gaps in between my brows. I'm starting to, but like I'm still very much on that like 2015 Instagram train. Normally I fill them in like that because I don't like when, sometimes with close-up photography, especially if you're using a really, really good camera, you just see like gaps in between my brows, which is like a totally normal thing. It just looks weird when I compare it to Instagram beauty gurus. Instead, what I do for like lighter makeup days is I'll go in with my e.l.f. brow pencil. Just kind of like, I won't even fill it in. I'll just literally do a line on the bottom and a line on the top, just kind of shaping the outer and inner portions of my brows. And then I go in with some sort of brow gel. I use the Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. So this one, it's a brow mascara. It's tinted, and it's also got like brow fibers, so it also makes your brows look thicker. I have the shade Blonde, which actually works quite nicely for me. I tend to prefer ashier brows. I find sometimes brow products that are like brown tend to run too warm for me. Like my eyebrows are black, I guess. My hair is, dark brown, as you can see, and my eyebrows, I guess, are a bit darker than my hair. So, I kind of go for like an ashier brown, I guess. So I find a lot of blonde brow products actually work really nicely for that. So what I find on video conferencing apps and, video calls and that sort of thing, if I fill my brows in using Dip Brow, it's just like that's all you see. It's just eyebrow. Forget the rest of your face makeup. Like all there is eyebrows. I don't want to draw attention to my eyebrows in video calls. So I, still fill them in, but just don't fill them in as dark. I'm like looking at myself in the mirror. Like I definitely see gaps in between my brows, which I really do not care about. Like if I'm out in public or whatever, or even like video where it's further away, I really don't mind. But if you're closer up, you can see the gaps. It shows up on a DSLR or any professional camera, and I just really don't like that look in photos. So just to show you, see how there are like gaps or sparseness over here? Not so much on this one. So I just don't like that look in photos. So next is bronzer contour. So I try and limit the number of products that I have sitting on my face because I don't want it to look too cakey. I'm not really doing natural makeup. Like I'm doing softer makeup. I guess let's call it that. Like it's not really natural makeup because I feel like you can probably tell that I'm wearing makeup. Like look at my cheek. Next, I moved on to bronzer. I didn't want to do like bronzer and contour. So I used the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I absolutely love it. This one is in the original shade, I think. They also have a light one, and I feel like I've definitely seen deeper ones as well. This is like just the original like medium, light medium shade. I don't remember what it's called. It was here. Here it is. It is the bronzer shade. Helpful. Anyways, that one I find it is a bronzer. It's definitely a bronzer, but it has almost like hints of cooler undertones, so it actually works quite nicely as a contour for me. Maybe it's just because I have like warmer undertones. I'm not 100% sure, but it does look quite nice as contour. So I use that. I mean, I didn't go ham, but like I guess I used a smaller amount than I would. Like, okay, I use the amount that I would use if I'm like going out in the daytime. So it's still noticeable, but I didn't like overdo it for camera. I should say for like this camera. Typically, I wear a lot heavier makeup when I'm filming a video for YouTube because my ring light washes things out a lot. So I just want it to show up more intense. But today, I want it to be a little bit more subdued because you can tell on video calls if you're wearing really, really heavy contour. It's very, very obvious. Personally, I don't think it looks very flattering. So I'm kind of doing like my everyday makeup for when I'm actually going out and seeing people in person. Yeah, so I mean, not a whole lot that I can say about that, just I kind of contoured with it. I also bronzed up my forehead. I have like, I wouldn't say I have a small forehead, but I have like an average size forehead. So I'm normally, like, I'm not trying to make it look smaller or anything, but I just kind of wanted some like warmth, especially because I look very washed out and I find, it looks nice. Let's talk about blush. So what did I use? Oh, so I used the Fenty Match Sticks in the shade Yacht Life. I'm really, really enjoying this product. I've only used it, I think, this time. So once since I filmed a video on it. I don't know which one of those videos will go up first, but I actually quite like it. It is a bit of a stiffer product. Like it's a bit drier than I sort of would have expected a cream blush to be. So I just use it directly on my face and then just pat it out. It gives a really nice glow. And it does build up actually quite nicely, but there wasn't quite enough glow for me. And I absolutely love highlighter, so I added some Lancome Dual Finish Highlighter in the shade Shimmering Buff. I absolutely love, love, love it. It is really good. Like it's not a cream, like I think it's a powder, but it almost feels a little creamy. It's a really nice formula and gives like a really nice, like surprisingly blinding highlight. Like it's not like a Jeffree Star highlighter, for example, or like Ofra maybe. It's not like super, super blinding that you can see from space, but it is like a really, really pretty glow. So I added that, and because it's a champagne color and there's sort of like a golden reflect or duochrome in the Fenty blush, it actually like works really nicely. It makes my whole face look like I'm glowing. Love it. And then I think I moved on to the eyes. This step, like you can honestly do whatever you want, but typically for like, let's say an interview, this is kind of like my go-to look. I actually have a video that I'll link over here that I did a couple years ago of interview makeup. And it's a look, if I remember correctly, it's a look very similar to this. I had my hair up in a bun like this. It was like very, very similar. So if you're interested in watching that, go for it. But yeah, it's a pretty similar look. I think just my makeup skills have improved since then. And yeah, it's just kind of a basic smoky eye. That's really what I do. I mean, that's what I do like on a day-to-day basis. Like I'd say about 90% of the time I do a smoky eye. And then like the remaining 10% is like a halo eye or some other creative eye look. But in general, I do a smoky eye. It's very flattering on like almost every eye type. Like it's easy and quick and looks really good on everyone. So yeah, I do that. I use two palettes. I use the Juvia's Place Tribe palette and the Juvia's Place Zulu palette. But honestly, like any warm kind of neutral tone palette is totally fine. That's generally what I stick to just because it's safe. It's a little more conservative. Generally, I like to play it safe when it comes to interviews because you want to make a good first impression. And I mean, I work in a creative field, so often my boss or my coworkers like really don't care about how I look. It's kind of like, the more creative, the better, just because, I am a designer. So it's like, oh, okay, you're expressing yourself creatively. That means you're probably going to do good creative work as well. Do whatever you want. And often those workplaces are a bit more laid back. So works for me, but some people aren't that lucky. But in general, like a bronze smoky eye is like very safe. And then just to finish off the look, what did I do? I did a little bit of black liquid liner, just a basic small cat eye, wing liner, whatever you want to call it. I find for my eye shape, it's actually the most flattering. Makes my eyes look nice, I think. And then curled my lashes and did mascara. I used the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. That one's not cruelty free. I don't know if it's vegan. In general, I don't wear false lashes for like video calls or interviews or anything like that. It's first of all, it's a lot. So if I'm getting ready and I'm already nervous or whatnot, it's just like, it's an extra step that I don't need. So it's just easier to do mascara. I am lucky, I guess, in that I have relatively long eyelashes. And then especially with this mascara, it actually gives a really nice effect on my lashes for people who have shorter lashes and are more insecure. Like totally, if you want to wear false lashes, wear false lashes. Just don't do something super over the top. That is my advice. Again, unless you're interviewing to be like a drag queen in a drag bar or something like that. In general, like honestly, I don't really wear false lashes unless it's for like YouTube or Instagram, just because it's a lot. And they kind of make my eyes feel heavy sometimes. Like it's a lot. I finished the look off the way that I do with like, basically like, this is like a classic work look for me. And I finished it off with the Kylie Jenner lip kit in the shade Candy K. I think it was one of the first 3 shades that she released. And honestly, it's like the perfect nude on me. It's my favorite. My mom and I are actually both obsessed. It's just such a pretty neutral color. Generally, like I have a couple weird colored lips, weird out there colored lipsticks, but in general, like day to day, I wear kind of basic dusty rose kind of shade. I kind of wear lipsticks in that family, kind of like this or like a peachy nude, something like that. Sometimes I'll wear like a darker version of this. I kind of am more basic when it comes to lips, but I do like to experiment sometimes. I think that's everything from this look. I don't know. This is my go-to interview look. I know this look will work for whatever I need it to do, and you know, when you have a video call and your appearance is actually important in said video call, at least for me, like if I know that I look good, then I'll feel more confident about myself and, you know, do a better job doing whatever it is that I'm there to do. You can look however you want to look, and that's totally fine. This is just, for me, kind of best practices that work for me for interviews or like, you know, work or whatever. With camera makeup, kind of more is more in that like you have to kind of double or triple what you'd normally put on your face to look good for camera. And I find kind of the more neutral, the more like safe, the better when it comes to video calls and video conferencing, because as I mentioned, lighting plays a huge role in how you look. I mean, duh. But like lighting plays a huge role in how you look on a webcam, let's say. You might look amazing in person in your bathroom mirror, and then when you turn on that webcam, it's like, ooh, that does not look good. I could have gone actually a bit heavier with the contour and blush probably. Didn't feel like it. I just find something like this tends to look better, at least for my taste, on webcam, and just wanted to pass along the information to you guys, as you know, a lot of people are still at home, are doing a lot more video calls and video conferencing, so just wanted to share that information with you guys. I feel like I'm like several months too late with this video, but you know what, I'm making it, so here it is. You're welcome. That's about all I have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this look. If you have any tips or tricks when it comes to video conferencing, video calls. If you like the type of looks that I do on this channel and you want to see more, I would highly suggest you check out my other social media. I post a lot of photos of the looks that I do here on those other platforms, so if you're interested, I suggest you check it out. And also if you could give me a follow and like, you know, engage with my posts, that would also really help me out, just because I want to, you know, build a wider reach, a bigger audience, so that I can start working with brands. If you enjoy the type of content here and you want to see more, then I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. That way you'll get updated every time I post a new video. I post usually once a week. Sometimes I've been posting twice a week, at least the past couple of months. So if you turn on notifications, and you'll know every time I post. I should be going back to my regularly scheduled programming of more bold, colorful looks and makeup reviews. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next time.